Hello everyone. Today we're going to finish weaving on our loom and then learn how to remove it from our cardboard loom. You do not have to take it off the loom. You could actually leave it on just like this. And some people decorate the outsides or they frame it while it's on the cardboard. You could even just have it sitting up somewhere on a shelf. Okay, so I'm going to weave without my loom, and I have 3 colors that I've done weaving with, and I finished with white, so I'm going to start now with red, and I ended under, so I'm going to start over and go under. So over, under, over, under. And if you're using a needle, you can simply use your needle, and that's fine. Sometimes it's easier. It guides you over and under a little bit faster and a little quicker. Some people are really awesomely quick with their fingers. All right, I'm pulling it through and just leaving that tail like I did when I started and finding my end and looking at where I left off, and I left off under, so I have to go over. And it doesn't matter how you started the row, it matters how you end. Some people get a little confused by that. And you can weave as long as you want, filling it all the way up. And you do want to remember to push your weaving down and pack it nice and tight. That will make a difference when you take it off the loom. So if it looks like you're done, give it a little squish. It might break your heart a little bit because you'll say, oh, I thought I was done. But it'll look a lot nicer when you get finished. And it also gives you more time to weave, which is awesome. And I have that yarn, arm's length of yarn, so that I don't have too much. If we get too much yarn, it just gets kind of like a tangled up mess. You can always add more when it gets close to the end. It gets kind of hard to push through. And I'm going to do, I think, one more row, and then we will talk about how to take this off the loom. Last row, it is under, I'm starting over. Pull it through, and there we go. So I'm going to end right here. I probably would still keep going, but in interest of time, we're going to end right here. And I'm going to give it a trim, like so. And if you want to neaten up the other parts, you can do that too. And I like to push it kind of in the middle of my loom. And then to take it off, I'm flipping it over, taking the tape off of this one, and just kind of set that aside and undo that first warp string. Now I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to be taking the warp string off of all these little braces like we did at the beginning. So here goes. I'm going to take it off the warp string. It is going to pull a little bit on this side, so you might notice a little bit of puckering on your weaving. Take the next warp string off, and I'm going to give it a little pull to tighten it up on this side. If you can see, that warp string is disappearing a little bit. You don't want to pull too tight though, because then you'll get that puckering. And pull, and I'm putting a little resistance on my actual weaving too, so it doesn't move around too much. And pull, take that warp string out. Pull, warp string out. Pull. Take out the warp string. So this is how it's looking on the back. They're disappearing. All right. And pull. Oops, my yarn is coming undone. And I'm on my last one. undo it, take the tape off, undo that warp string, and now I can get rid of the loom. I've pulled everything out. Carefully pull that last string, and look at that, it's off of the loom, like so. If you've got a little piece extra like this, I like to tie a knot. We make a loop and then tuck that tail in that loop and pull. I like to do it twice. So 2 knots, making sure it's tied really well. There's that side. And then this side doesn't really have a string at the top, so what you can do is tuck it under this first row. You can see that. And go underneath. It's kind of sticking to my hands. And then pull and make a little knot. And then do that again. And that'll tighten it up a little bit. And this, some people use them for these little weavings, so I'm going to trim it. Some people use these for their small toys. Maybe you have some Legos that need a place to sit, or using it as a coaster for a drink. Or I've had kids who've got small pets like hamsters, and they use it for the hamster. So I'm just going to trim this, neaten it up a little bit. Now that it's all woven in, this is totally safe to do. You just want to be careful not to cut too much, because you might cut your actual weaving. So there it is. We're done, and this could also be mounted on a piece of mat board, or have a frame and have it kind of floating in the frame, and it looks beautiful hanging on your wall. So I hope you enjoyed weaving, and you can certainly reuse your loom, get some more warp string, and make as many as you like. Have a wonderful day.